cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
You ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountain? All right, welcome into the View from C-Deck. And my man, the Haas here, is a little under the weather, so we're going to have to get through the slog that was that UCLA game. Even though the Buckeyes dominate and win 48-10. This is the View from C-Deck, and I'm just Matt. The Haas is here. We're going to talk about the UCLA game, break down what happened and what didn't happen, and what the hell is going on with all these injuries at wide receiver. And then we're going to also preview the Rutgers game as Rutgers comes into the shoe Saturday for big noon of all things with like the worst, like one of the bottom 5 teams in the conference. But Haas, what do you think Saturday night watching Julian saying in the second half without his number one receivers and Caleb Downs sitting as a precaution and the defense finally giving up some yards? Like, what do you think Saturday of everything that transpired?
Just a kind of a good meshing game for some of the other young wide receivers. Ennis kind of had a good game, kind of seeing him kind of make some big plays and step up in the moment. I mean, if this team was without Smith and Tate for the long haul, this is an okay offense without them. But building into the future, next year we're not going to have Tate. So seeing some of these guys now, we're going to need somebody to step up next year. So it's kind of nice. It was kind of nice to get some reps for them. And I probably foresee them holding one of Smith or Tate out this weekend. If I had to take a guess, one of them is probably not going to play against Rutgers, if not both of them. So it's going to be good to kind of get them into the offense and acclimated before next year when we're going to actually need somebody to step up other than Smith.
Yeah, I mean, 9 different guys catch a pass in the game. That's a good thing. But Sayan just goes, 23 for 31, which 74%. What the hell's going on, man? Well, normally it'd be really good, but only 5.9 yards per attempt, which is not good. 184 yards, a touchdown, no picks. Keenholz comes in and goes 3 for 3 at the end. Nice to see him get a little run too. But yeah, without Jeremiah, after he gets hurt, was his ankle or his hamstring? It was hard to tell.
The way he was limping, it looked more like an ankle, lower leg.
Yeah, which is good. But that would be better than a hamstring. It's definitely easier to come back from an ankle injury like that. And if you're saying you held him out as a precaution, that would make more sense. But it was seeing the lack of in syncness of, for lack of a better word, between Zayn and those receivers, like Mylan Graham, man, that ball he throws into the end zone for Mylan Graham should have been a touchdown probably, and is if it's Jeremiah or Carnell. But Mylan's not tracking the ball quite right. They have another miscommunication. You're right about Ennis, though. I said text to my group text that he finally looks like a real receiver tonight, like not an athlete playing receiver, but an actual wide receiver, catching the ball with his hands away from his body, making tough third down catches. Like that's what we need him to be come the playoff time when we play some better defenses and need the slot guy to come up big. And it was good to see. Now, what was looking very good in this game, especially when a certain number 77 was out of the game, was the running game. Now, it could be that UCLA is absolute trash against the run, but all 3 of our top 3 running backs, not named CJ Johnson, who was held out of the game, scored touchdowns. They all make pretty nice plays. What do you like about the run game there?
Just kind of getting explosive plays going and kind of seeing the momentum carry even out of the, in the passing game too, using them there. So yeah, it's tough, playing against these bottom tier Big Ten teams. Can you really take a lot from them? I think you can. When our running game was so inept at times, I think I'll take whatever we can get. This is momentum. Momentum's momentum. Any way we can get it. So I'll take it because there wasn't any to be had the last few weeks with it. So it's looking to build off of that against Rutgers, and there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to keep doing that same thing this upcoming week. So that should be kind of the next thing. Saying, to start the year, he was good, but he was a little bit off on especially his deep ball throws, kind of getting his timing down with those guys. It was kind of reminiscent this game, working in with new receivers. You're always going to have those timing, situations where you're behind guys, overthrowing guys, because you're throwing to guys that you're usually not throwing to in live ball situations. So, the narratives to be had if the Heisman, was maybe decided this weekend, because people said, hey, Sayan's not without his 2 guys. Maybe it's because he has the numbers because he has 2 of the best receivers in the country. I could see that argument, but I think it's really going to come down to the Michigan game is see what Sain can do against them.
Michigan game and Big Ten championship. If he succeeds against Michigan, he'll still have to succeed against Indiana because he's going to be playing against his main competition especially after Ty Simpson loses that game against Oklahoma. I think it is between Sain and Mendoza probably has, because of a lot of narratives too, that we're just not playing close games, so it doesn't matter. And Julian's just on a good team, like you said, throwing to good players. But all of Jackson, West, and Peoples all go over seven or more yards per carry, which is fantastic. And it was when Gabe Van Sickle was in the game, is when big plays were erupting. Just doing a solid job. Now, it's like I said, UCLA's defense is really bad against the run. And I was impressed actually with the tackling from their secondary, especially. But it's clear that their middle of their defensive line is why that is. So maybe us succeeding so easily at guard in this particular game is not a good indicator. But we'll find out more this week. Rutgers is really, really bad against the pass. They're not good against the run, but they're really bad against the pass, dead last in the conference. So that'll be something to look out for. Now, going over to the defensive side of the ball, total shutdown in the first half. And then, Caleb Downs was the player of the game per Ohio State, defensive player of the game. He's all over the field right off the bat, makes a tackle for a loss on the screen pass. And, UCLA, though, playing their backup quarterback on kind of late notice, not the ideal situation for them. And, he had a decent stat line. It was mostly when the backups were in the game. So we get to the second half, though, and we have the backups in. Downs is out of the game. So our communicator, I've said all year that I think if Downs does go down, that it could significantly affect it would significantly affect this defense. It kind of looked like that to me, but though we also have Devin Sanchez in there getting smoked yet again. He's struggling his freshman year right now to hold up in man-to-man coverage.
Yeah, kind of worrisome too, because not like he's going up against top-tier wide receivers, so it's going to be interesting to see kind of the adjustments they make. And he's a freshman; they're going to make mistakes, so I have faith that they can kind of get him tooled around and this offseason kind of get his techniques down. But yeah, the defense, not much to really look at. The defensive line was Kenyatta Jackson. Do you think he had maybe his best game this season? He was kind of disruptive.
I thought Penn State was his best game. He won a lot of one-on-one battles that game, but he was still really good. Caden Curry had a nice game too. Caden McDonald always studly on that game.
Yeah, the defensive line just dominated. They were kind of getting the gaps. There's nowhere to run. UCLA was kind of just trying to get out of there. I think when the coach says, "Yeah, we're trying to come in here and play our brand of football and just see what we can do," the messaging was clear. Our writing was on the wall. They knew they were going to take the same chance, unfortunately. But
yeah, it's that's how. Problem with our schedule this year, we have totally dominated it, doing everything you could ask a team to do against. You can only play who's in front of you, but the chips have just fallen badly that we played so many of the bottom teams in the conference and haven't got to play USC, Oregon, Indiana, Iowa. None of these teams that could. I guess Washington and Illinois are right near where Iowa is, but probably not quite the same level. And it's hard to tell just how good we are with how bad we're just smashing these teams in every week. And Rutgers this week, yes, we have to talk about one thing, though, for sure. Special teams. God, how did we leave this out? Special teams finally takes a kick back to the house on an ill-advised return. I thought, as soon as he took it out, I was like, what is he doing? Lorenzo Styles Jr., and then he shut my ass up real fast. Taking one to the house. First time in, 15 years?
Yes, 15 years. I literally, when he went into the end zone, I looked at my girlfriend. I was like, that one's that. It has been so long since I have seen one of those from my house. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, it has been at least, I thought it was maybe closer to 20 years, but it was 15 years. I was like, it has been so fucking long. Even punt returns, we haven't had a super, they're hard to come by, but just the nature of the beast, that was truly, truly awesome to see.
Well, last year was the first punt return in 10 years for a touchdown. Yeah. And this was the first kick return. So it has been a long time. Special teams have not been a strength under Day. And also we get the worst shank. That kid almost missed that punt that he kicked into Curry's chest. I thought he did miss it at first. I thought he missed it until they showed the replay. I was like, "Did you just whiff that kick?"
That's right, off the side of his foot, right into the gut.
Yeah. probably felt pretty good though. And Curry playing it up like he actually blocked it. I'm like, dude, he kicked that right into your chest. You were not even in front of him. You were off to the side.
You just happened to be in the way.
Yeah, you just happened to be in the way. And hopefully we just happen to be in the way of a lot of Rutgers punts this week, because there's probably going to be quite a few. They come into the shoe. A decent offense, though. I mean, they've scored points in a lot of games this year. The quarterback's thrown for a lot of yards, 2,700 yards. That's actually more than Sayan has on the year. They have a 1,000-yard running back, too, already. They have talent on offense, 900-yard receiver. And they did just beat Maryland after they've won 2 of their last 3, Maryland and Purdue. But, and a bad loss at Illinois, though. Got crushed by Oregon when they played them this year. They don't have the talent. But if we don't have Jeremiah and Carnell, do we cover the 33.5-point spread that's out there right now?
We've covered every game this season. I have faith that we cover this game.
All but 2.
Oh, I thought somebody said that we covered all of them, but okay. So
we half point against OU. It was 28.5, won by 28. And the Purdue game, they scored that touchdown. They scored at the very end. Got the cover for them.
Okay, so we still cover.
That we did. I'm just trying to think if I don't know. 8-1. I was 9. Over under 55.5. It's 56.5 now. Scarlet Rutgers is dead last in the conference in defense. They're really bad. They've given up a lot of points to some bad offenses. See Purdue, they got 24, who's terrible.
It is senior day. Does he trot out Kindholtz earlier in the second half to kind of give Sayan some rest for scum game? That could factor into if we cover and get the over and stuff. This is an avoid game for me for betting purpose. If I was a betting man, I'd avoid this game just because the injuries, and I think you're gonna, even if you're up by 21 points in the second half, you're gonna pull the guys because you're worried about the next weekend, because all these scenarios that are out there for these last 2 weeks for the Big Ten championship game. I mean, it's all coming down to this for us. We win, we're in, but there's so many different crazy scenarios out there for who can go to the Big Ten championship game depending on the outcomes. It's crazy.
A lot of one-loss teams right now. Oregon. 0 losses for us in Indiana, and then Oregon, Michigan, and USC all have only 1 loss in the conference. So there's a lot that can go on there. And if we lose to Michigan, we're out. But irrelevant at this point. We'll worry about them when they get here. Rutgers, fewest points they've given up in the Big Ten conference play was the 24 against Purdue. They've given up at least 31 in every other game in conference, which is terrible. And also gave up 31 to OU, to Ohio University in the opener. So all signs point to an offensive explosion. If we have at least one of the 2, I don't think Jeremiah plays. Just the way he looked limping in that one. And he is by far our most important player on offense besides Sayan. So I think for sure he will sit this game. Tate, because he's been out the last 2 weeks, they might want to work him back in to get the rust off if he's healthy. There were some internet rumors that this is season ending, that whatever he has is, or at least maybe like regular season ending. But those are just internet rumors, and I don't necessarily trust them. But we'll never know. This thing we know with Tate, we'll never know what's actually wrong with anybody out there. Josh Padilla, what is he just like? Did his leg fall off? I don't know what happened. May not matter now because Van Sickle might just take over that right guard spot. But I just want to see a continuation of the run game, though, doing what it did. And if Sayan does have to play with the backups, let's see what you can do. Let's dial up. They tried to dial up some stuff for Mylan Graham, and I have great faith that he'll eventually be good. But you see why he doesn't play that much so far. He's had some drops, or not quite making the catches that Tate and Smith make, and Hartline just won't play if that's the case. But we'll see more of him, Porter,
Claire. Use
Claire.
Claire.
Had 5 catches in this game. But
I'd like to see Jackson, but use Bo out of the backfield more. I'd like to see more dump offs and use him in the route tree. Do some of the wheel routes with the running backs more, like we saw with Travion a lot. I think Bo could be one of those running backs in the NFL that could be a 3-down running back if he gets, if he develops that pass catching skill set and pass
pro.
Yeah. So that's kind of the whole feat of it. Developing these younger guys is a big thing for this weekend. I think.
Yeah, get them big reps because we may need them in Ann Arbor. Just the guys are hurt. That's just part of the game. and you have to overcome it. We have the talent to overcome it. Defensively, this is actually a good test. Like I said, they put up points and yards on a lot of teams this year. If we can hold them under 17, I think it's a very good outing, especially if the offense is not dominating and can't just dominate the clock, which they might be able to. Might just run it down their throats all game. And I think they'll probably try to they got Downs out earlier this week because they know how important he is. He wasn't hurt at all. They just pulled him out at halftime up 27-0 and probably kind of wanted to see what they could do without him out there. And like I said, it had not the best the look without him. But to keep the D-line fresh, keep them rotating. They rotated D-tackle a ton in this game. I just want to keep seeing that and see some more reps made for the younger linebackers because, Arvell and Sonny are getting I've played a lot of snaps this year. So if we can get them off the field too, that'd be great. And Pettijohn had a really nice blitz and a couple of nice plays in the game. Need to see that going more. And special teams really has been pretty good the last couple of weeks. Let's keep it going. Let's get a punt return this time, Brandon.
Yeah, maybe Fielding can make a long field goal. Probably not.
He did against Purdue. Yeah, that 49-yarder.
Okay. Start.
I mean, it's a start. It's a start. We have to take what we can get there. And he's now 13 for 15 on the season, which is good statistically, but we all know that in the big moments from the left hash over 40, the trust might not be there. Now, as I ask it at the end of all of our podcasts, actually, we have to get our predictions for the score in this game. 33.5 favorite, over under 55.5. What do you got, Jason?
Ugh. Uncertainties. I could see us just milking the clock, getting 3 possessions in the first half, probably, if that. No, probably 3 possessions in the first half. Probably score. I'm gonna say 27. I'm gonna say 27-12.
Whoa, 27 against their defense? No, come on. We just scored 48 with all the backups in. There's a return touchdown against a worse offense than we're playing. Yeah, I think we score more than that. I was gonna say like high 30s, low 40s. I'll say 41 because we'll have to settle for field goals a little more. And Keenholz gets in and gets us a score at the end. 41 to 13 because they score 2 touchdowns, but they go for like a 2-pointer somewhere in there and don't get it. Because what do they? Maybe they score the first drive and go for 2 like teams like to do. But I think so. That's what not a cover for us and right on the under. Damn it! But I think the offense doesn't look quite right, and I don't expect it to look amazing in 2 weeks unless we really just tried to really run down the ball down their throat and have us like ripping off 50-yard touchdown runs, which we could because they're really bad. And they really struggle with RPOs. Also, something we got to look forward to is the scum game. I watched probably the most I've watched of a scum game this year. And, man, they love the same exact RPO. They ran it a million times to the right. They want him running RPOs to his right all the time, Underwood, it worked a lot, though, against Northwestern. Anyway, did this game, as we always ask, increase your confidence in us winning a national championship, decrease, keep it the same-ish?
Until Tate comes back, I'm going to say it decreased. If once I see Tate step back onto the field, I think we can win it without Tate, but without Tate, we are on level with Indiana and A&M and Texas Tech. I think with Tate, when we're fully healthy, I think we are on another level above everybody. So I think it decreases a little bit just until I see us fully healthy.
Georgia in that mix, they look freaking good right now.
I didn't watch the second half of that game, so I fell asleep.
They dominated over the interception, 135-10. I mean, their offense is clicking where they may be the second most efficient. Well, Indiana, I don't know about Indiana's offense. I'm really not totally sold on it still because of what they did in big games last year against teams not named Oregon.
And we're down to 5 teams. Like it is the 5 teams that can win it. It's pretty set, cut, clear, and dry. And then I think SEC. I think championship weekend we find out the real Indiana, Ohio State, and then the real A&M and Georgia.
I don't believe in A&M. South Carolina is just putrid. That was a ridiculous comeback for them. It could be one of those things where they just feel like they're meant to be, but still. You should never be down 30-3 against a 3-6 team at home this late in the season. That's just ridiculous. I think Georgia. I think it's us in Georgia. I really do. I think, and Indiana's right. Indiana's right there too. But
Texas Tech.
See it. Texas Tech. I mean, I don't see teams just coming out of nowhere and being like that, like where they can just win a national championship, like flash out. And their quarterback plays just okay. Their offense is just okay, and their defense isn't playing like monstrous offenses. Like the Big 12, it's not the old Big 12 where there's just like 54 to 45 games every week. Like they're all just like kind of good offenses. But Georgia's like Georgia. Kirby put on a master clinic. They also, they do throw the pick, give up a touchdown. It gets down to 14-10. They score a touchdown, go up 21-10, and then he kicks an onside kick, surprise kick. And so, I mean, totally just like that. This game's over. It's crushed right now. And they score right away. Kirby's right. Him and Day are the two best. I'm not betting against him, especially when his team's healthy. Like last year, I think we would have played him in the national championship had Beck not gotten injured. Although maybe not. Beck's up and down, but Stockton just doesn't have enough run to get them there.
I mean, the point is like what? There's 3 coaches that have won a national championship in college football right now.
Yeah, that are active. Yeah,
there's 3, so it's.
But Jason is one who has won 6 Super Bowls.
Yeah. I don't know. I think a national championship means more than a Super Bowl.
More than all 6 combined.
Yeah. So it's like, who do you have faith? Like, do you think that Cignetti could lead them to the promised land this year? Do you think that Texas Tech, I forget his coach, do you think that he can lead them to the promised land? Like Mike Elko, do you think he can lead? I have no faith in him. You might be onto it. It's going to have to be Day or Kirby again this year, probably.
Plus all the talent on both teams. Like they're going to win the talent matchup man for man, and all those teams you just mentioned don't. I mean, as much as Texas Tech has won in the portal, they still don't match up man for man with either Georgia or Ohio State's roster. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see the committee in 2 nights from now where they put BYU vis-a-vis Alabama. What I think they're going to do, AP did this, they have them right behind, is basically position it to where if BYU does win the Big 12, obviously they're in, but Texas Tech will be in too, and Bama will end up being out. I mean, assuming no other tomfoolery, nobody else loses. But they're going to have it set up that they have to do that, and they won't be in going into Big 12 championship weekend. Is how I think it'll happen.
Well, they should definitely be behind Notre Dame. Like the fact that some of the ESPN people were saying that Alabama should be ahead of Notre Dame was stupid as fuck. Yeah. So that's, I don't know. Like if that happens,
they'll be right in front of Notre Dame's a step ahead. They're the top 2-loss team right now.
Yeah,
I think. I mean, maybe Oklahoma will be ahead of Notre Dame. I don't know. I wouldn't put them ahead of Notre Dame. The only
Notre Dame hasn't beaten.
Everybody is in a win out in the regular season, and you're in. That's in the top 8 or 9 right now. It'll be Bama and BYU hoping to get that last spot like sewn up before championship weekend. And if not, like if BYU goes in and plays Texas Tech again with only 1 loss, you can't drop them behind. I mean, Bama's probably going to play in the Big 12 in the SEC championship too, though. Still, all they have to do is beat Auburn. They're in.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very interesting stuff. Anyway, that'll do it for this episode, though. For the Haas, I'm just Matt. Like, subscribe, comment. Let us know what you think about. Is Tate out for the season, do you think? Or what do you think our chances are without him? And how bad can we God, I hope they're both healthy going into Ann Arbor, though. That's all I want, because I want to smash their effing faces in. But that'll do it for this episode, and we will see you guys next time.
Hey, guys. Oh, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.